YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Solo Top back at it with another one. And today we got Olam Sama, the most useless superpowers in real life. 4. I didn't know he made that much, so I'm gonna go back on the other ones. So we going backwards with this one. But if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Share to your friends, family, whatever you want to do. And without further ado, cue the intro. Alright, man, let's get straight to it.
Hey, y'all know what this is by now. We're back to talk about some more useless powers, because there are still far too many that need to be covered. So enough chit chat, let's get into some of these abilities. For our first order of business, I wanted to spin back on some of the things I said in the second installment of the series. Being wrong is a part of life, and it can be good to admit when you were wrong on something. And I definitely gotta correct and revise one of the takes I made in that video about Gojo's abilities. In that video, I said that besides Infinity, which is essentially the barrier around Gojo, all of their abilities from the Limitless Curse technique were practically useless for IRL scenarios. As we see in JJK, a lot of Gojo's techniques are typically used in a combat sense. However, that doesn't mean that the very nature of some of these techniques are completely due to water for ordinary situations. When I saw Gojo destroy everything in the surrounding area with the max output blue, I thought he could only use blue at max output to destroy things. However, you can use lower outputs of blue and use it as a pseudo telekinesis by manipulating the attraction field. So blue in itself is pretty decent at lower outputs, and you'd probably never need it at max output unless you're interested in creating a pull so strong that everything in the vicinity gets concentrated to a single point, essentially acting as a gravitational wrecking ball. Also, a lot of y'all were telling me that he uses blue to teleport, which I genuinely did not know. I kind of just ignored that part of his abilities and thought he just teleported through other means of space manipulation. But hey man, y'all already know how I feel about teleportation. It's always useful as long as we ignore the scientific implications. But y'all Gojo fans are still gonna have to hear me say that purple and unlimited void are still straight garbage in real life unless you expect to be in the army. Red is, for lack of a better word, mid. I really am not sure when you'll need the repulsion of red, because I haven't seen many other applications in the series besides pure offense. You can't even say that you needed to push an object because you can just use blue for that. Anyways, on to the new powers. The first one up to bat is Titan shifting from Attack on Titan. Shifters can transform into giant humanoids, so naturally they'd be pretty strong. Titan shifters were pretty consistently portrayed to be formidable opponents throughout the series, and they're the strongest characters if we don't include the Ackerman. There's quite a few different Titan shifters in the series. There's the Beast Titan, who typically has some type of animal characteristics. Zeke's Titan looked like a monkey and was able to throw rocks and practically anything else like cannonballs. There's the Armor Titan, who has armor, kinda obvious. We got the Warhammer Titan, who can make constructs out of hardened Titan skin. The Jaw Titan has incredible jaw and claw strength. The female Titan is extremely versatile. The Colossal Titan is massive. The Cart Titan has great mobility despite looking like a crocodile and a human fusion in all the wrong ways. And for some reason, the Attack Titan can look through the memories of future holders of the Attack Titan. I don't know how useful that specific ability would be in real life due to the logistics of actually passing on the Titan, but that's a problem for later. You also got a pretty decent regeneration factor when you're in human form, and that's all of the positives I really got for this power, because it's very clear that if you had this ability in real life, you'd quickly realize how worthless it is. First off, there will be zero sense of privacy when turning into a Titan, so no little secrets or anything, everyone will know. You will be a human about the size of a building, so it's kind of hard to miss. And that's not to mention the fact that there's a giant explosion and lightning anytime you transform. If you see a lightning explosion in the middle of a sunny day, you're gonna know something odd is happening. Also, something that needs to be noted is that even though the Titans are strong, they are not really like that for real. It's not like they have zero weaknesses. The series has already demonstrated that there was anti-Titan technology that was very effective against the Armored Titan. Our modern society is way more advanced than it is in Attack on Titan. If the country wanted to, they could neutralize you without breaking too much of a sweat. If you decide to start destroying stuff, you may cause some damage, but you're not going super crazy. Some of the Titan shifters are also just underwhelming in general. Like the Armor Titan is cool and will probably be on the more useful side of the 9 Titans, but something like the Colossal Titan is kind of you just sitting there with a lot of hot steam. The Colossal Titan is really only good for the explosion as long as you're okay being a living nuclear warhead. It's not even like you're that big with the Colossal Colossal Titan, as you're still significantly shorter than a skyscraper. Something else to keep in mind is that for a Titan to be really effective, some type of combat training might be in order. As we've seen by now, the ability isn't even that great on its own. But there's one thing I haven't even mentioned yet when becoming a Titan Shifter, and it's the biggest drawback of the ability. Once you become a Titan Shifter, you only have 13 years left on your life due to the curse of Ymir. So you cut down your lifespan significantly when you obtain one of the 9 Titans. If you want to pass it on, you gotta have another pure Titan eat you. But I don't know how that'll even work without other Titans existing in our world. So you'll just die in your 20s or 30s, which makes the ability even more worthless than it already is. If anything, it's more of a negative. In terms of real life uses, this power could probably help someone with construction or something, but we already have machines for that, so you'd probably not be too helpful.
I wouldn't even use oh, I thought he said I'm writing though down there at the bottom left. But pause. But you know, I wouldn't use no Titan form in real life, dog. Even if he was trying to do good, they'll still take you down. Like, and they can, and they durability ain't that good. So yeah.
You'd also risk blowing up the construction site if you transform near it, and your body temperature would probably be too hot to work with. Having a power like this is similar to the Susanoo problem, where it's difficult to maneuver in any densely populated area. I'm not even going to talk about the Founding Titan because of the royal blood requirements. You are basically asking for a death sentence if you want to become a Titan Shifter. Bruh, I don't even know if a lot of the shifters in this series really liked being one that much. Long story short, it would not translate very well to real life. Next up is Maharaga's adaptation. And I know what the title says, but I can't say that this ability is completely useless. Throughout the series, I like to talk about abilities that are absolute trash for real life, but also powers that get their usefulness overstated. I'd say that Maharaga's ability falls into this category, as it depends on how reckless the user of the ability is with it. I think people are going to believe with an adaptation ability that there's some invincible tank when that's simply not the case. As we all know, Maharaga can adapt to anything, even physical stats. If you're thinking that's a lie, you might not have caught up with the manga. Basically, if Maharaga gets hit with an attack, he starts a process to adapt to said attack. There's a set time limit to this, but if you hit him with the same attack again, the process speeds up. Full adaptation means that Maharaga will be immune to the attack moving forward, and this works for anything, so you'd be able to adapt to diseases or any real health issues, which is very useful to have. But there's a caveat that people always underplay for some reason, and it's the fact that Maharaga needs time to adapt. That's why the main way to beat him is to hit him with an attack hard enough to one-shot him. Although the anime extended it, the fight against Sukuna in the manga was only a chapter and a half long, because Sukuna realized he just needed to hit him with a strong enough attack before he started adapting. So as long as you're not crazy with what you want to adapt to, you'll have a really good ability. However, I know y'all well enough at this point to know some of you guys are still Arkham Asylum patients who will do the wildest thing you could think of with this power. One of y'all are gonna jump in front of a truck on the highway, then realize you can't adapt to anything if you're already dead. No type of healing factor is gonna help you if you just get outright one shot. And that's another thing that needs to be talked about. It's the healing factor of the adaptation. The adaptation will help you heal the injuries, but it can only do so much. You can get shot once and heal it up fine, but if someone immediately dumps an entire clip into you, it's still gonna leave you hurting if you're not fully adapted yet. This happened during the Maharaga vs Sukuna fight in the manga, where Maharaga was crawling on the ground after the domain expansion. Also, the adaptation doesn't always necessarily mean healing every time. It could be something else, such as helping you react to an attack better. I personally feel that if you want to be reckless and have adaptation, it's gotta be a rapid adaptation ability like Darwin's from X-Men. His mutant power would likely serve a more convenient day-to-day purpose. Next up, we got Shigaraki's Decay Quirk, which I have no idea why anyone would want this power.
Wait, I understand. Yeah.
Very clear how detrimental his quirk can be when we saw that in his backstory that his quirk accidentally made him murk his entire family. The power is extremely simple and deadly because it just requires you to touch something or someone with your fingers and they disintegrate to dust, Infinity War style. As the quirk gets stronger, the decay can begin to spread to other things touching the decaying object, creating a domino effect. So you can accidentally level an entire city with ease if you are not careful. And that's my main problem with the quirk. All it does is destroy things. I can't really find another creative use besides that. I promise you, you will never, ever find yourself needing this quirk. Maybe if you're Joe Goldberg and need to get rid of some evidence, that this quirk will be your best friend, but no one watching this video is moving like Joe Goldberg in real life. Maybe you can become a trash collector and just start destroying trash, but even then that could be risky. You probably wouldn't be able to control the spread very well, so one decaying banana peel that slips out of the bag can destroy a couple houses. If we're being real, it's a worse version of Overhaul because he can break down and rebuild matter. Shigaraki's quirk is just a derivative of Overhaul. Why would you not want Overhaul instead of decay. Decay is a purely villainous ability. Only evil people are using this ability for real, and hint, it's not for good things. And actually, this is a good place to bring this up. In every facet possible, there are a multitude of never-ending battles. Democracy versus communism, lions versus hyenas, Kevin Durant versus hairbrushes. My never-ending battle is with the comments of this series, more specifically, the secret villains in them. It's like y'all are sleeper agents. Y'all hear the prospect of getting powers in real life and start commenting some wild stuff. Like, what on earth is this guy talking about? The pros of world domination? Then this guy just further proves my point with the Kainu's fruit. You finna get served papers for property damage and burn them to death? What's wrong with you? I'm not even coming from a moral standpoint anymore. They're going to find out that you are willing to burn people to death and start using force against you. The government will easily stop you once they realize that your weakness is being submerged in water, which is something they would try to do considering you're generating lava from your body. You're not invincible, bruh. Everyone in the country's government is gonna use everything to catch you. They might even pop out the Men in Black weapons for you. Once they catch you, it's up for you. Game over. You are never seeing the light of day again.
Cooked. You're cooked.
Okay, I finally got that off. Before we move on to the next ability, if you're new and enjoying so far, you might as well subscribe. Anyways, it's time to talk about the strongest man in the world, WhiteBeard, and his fruit, the Quake fruit. This fruit is one of the keys to
Wait, hold on now. Wait, hold on now. Big bruh. If I had that power, big bruh. Dog. My stats will literally go over 1,000, my nigga. But big bruh. There, no way, big bruh, no way.
You're being such a force in a One Piece verse.
What?
The fruit allows the user to create massive shockwaves and earthquakes, and it's as strong as it sounds. This man WhiteBeard was causing tsunamis and entire islands to shake with the usage of his fruit. Sengoku famously said he could destroy the world with the fruit, showing how strong it can really be. Now, it's important to know that WhiteBeard is a pirate that doesn't really have to follow the rules. It doesn't matter if he accidentally destroys a couple buildings, because he's not paying for it. He got a multi-billion-dollar bounty already, so some extra fines will not hurt him in the slightest. You, however, are a regular citizen of society and will need to follow the laws and regulations of our civilization. So if you got this fruit, it probably would not be the best idea to start throwing out a bunch of quake punches at people pressing you because of all the collateral damage. Earthquakes are not some little pushover natural disaster. These things are serious. And considering the fact that WhiteBeard could potentially destroy the planet, you'll probably break the Richter scale with some of your moves. It is simply overkill. Who the heck are you fighting to justify using this fruit for offense? Kryptonians? It's far too life-threatening for normal civilians. The fruit can be seen as a threat to friend and foe. If you've played games with a character with ridiculous AoE, that's most of your attacks. You can't even do the whole taking over the world thing very well. The Quake fruit is a paramecia, not a logia, so you can be touched. And it's not like the fruit improves your speed or durability. You can just make earthquakes, so the classic lead in your chest is putting you on a t-shirt. There's probably 1 out of every 100 scenarios where this fruit will be a net positive for you. Next up, we got curse speech, and it's not too complex of a curse technique to explain. With curse speech, your words are enhanced with curse energy, so listeners are compelled to act based on those words.
That John.
Shut yourself.
Yes, theoretically you could even do that. Honestly, this power can be abused like crazy with the right or wrong person. But being completely honest, I always thought this power was kind of meh in the series once you learn the extent of it. I know he's a side character, but Inumaki has barely done anything with this ability. Like, you'll have this one cool moment but get sidelined. And he gets sidelined because the recoil for this ability is ridiculous. Different commands require different skill levels. The higher the skill level of the command, the more backlash on the user, aka you, will receive. Why do you think this man Inumaki is always coughing up blood? He can't even use some of the complex commands very much. Shoot, even some of the commands get shrugged off anyways. Granted, it was a special grade curse or a special grade curse user shrugging it off. Theoretically, you can master it, as we've never seen anyone in the series give someone a crazy command with it, but certainly there's a limit to what you can do with it. I doubt any of us would be as skilled as Sukuna or Gojo with Jujutsu to actually make the most of it. And oh yeah, when I said your words are enhanced with cursed energy, I truly meant all of your words. So no more of those things you like to call sentences. You will be forced to speak in food for the rest of your life or get a device that gives you a voice. It's because with normal words, you can risk inadvertently cursing people with cursed speech. If you try to have a normal conversation, you might get the other person murked in the process because of the lack of control. So having this power in real life means I cough up blood because I either overuse the ability or I do something I'm too weak to do. On top of that, I can only speak in food ingredients or whatever to avoid cursing people. What, just so I control a couple times?
Salmon.
I will pass on that any day of the week. I'd rather see someone combust into flames. Wait, no, I didn't mean that. Last up is yet another JJK ability, Sukuna's Shrine Technique. In my opinion, it's pretty self-explanatory why you would never need something like this in real life. There are three main parts of this ability: cleave, dismantle, and the fire arrow. Dismantle is the default slash that fires out an invisible slash. You cut up things, it's pretty simple. Cleave is a more unique slash in the fact that it can be adjusted to the durability levels of the enemy to just finish them off in one hit. It's also used while physically touching the opponent. The fire arrow is basically a mini nuke that can destroy city blocks and is made of fire. Again, pretty obvious. These abilities sound pretty broken when reading them on paper until you realize that these are sort of Sukuna techniques, if that makes sense. These abilities only work for Sukuna since he's really good at Jujutsu sorcery, but in the hands of anyone else, they're not as effective. Like if you gave Nobara a cleave and dismantle, she's not going to be the strongest in the verse. This same type of logic would likely apply in real life unless you're a prodigy of some sort. So you, my friend, are not going to be that good with using this technique. The slashes might be like paper cuts or will be uncontrollable. I can't even fathom the amount of training you'd need to make this power really good. Also, the technique suffers the same problem a lot of fictional powers have, and it's the fact that the power is mainly combat focused. At the basic level, there really aren't many applications of cleave and dismantle besides cutting stuff. If you're a chef, that's cool, but how many of us are really culinary experts? Even if we give you the benefit of having a domain expansion, what will you ever use it for? The only people who want this power are either the Sukuna fans or the super agents, super villains I referred to earlier. So that's another set of powers that I think are kind of to just straight up bad in real life. If y'all want another part to this series, just tell me in the comments, because I don't want to overrun the channel with this type of video. With that being said, have a great day and peace out.
Nah, it's especially understandable. Nah, I ain't gonna lie. Every single one was valid. Everyone was valid except for Gojo's one. I would still use Gojo's, but that's just me though. But hey, if you enjoyed, you know what I'm saying, hit that subscribe button, share to your friends, like, comment. Yeah, it's your boy Solo Top. I'm out, brothers, my sisters. I see y'all later, my brothers and sisters. Peace.